You're on record.
6,
This-
7,
Now that's
8, right, because Casey's in, Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, please call the roll.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Kaplan.
Here.
Mr. Mazzarella.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Mr. Willens.
Here.
Chairman Irakane.
Present.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick, our board engineer, Mr. Holloway, and our board attorney, Mr. King.
Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point in this evening's meeting, is there any member of the public that has any business to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? I hear none and see none. We have correspondence from Mr. Garofalo that application 2255 has been withdrawn. Do we need to do anything?
No, 2255, we'll do a resolution with the withdrawal.
Okay.
So, if you can make a motion accepting and withdrawing the application.
Motion to move.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it takes care of that. We got resolutions.
There's one other letter you should have.
One more letter, I'm sorry.
It's like car trailer.
Brady and, yeah. Jihad. Already notified my client is hereby withdrawing the above application. Please provide an accounting. What was this? What,
Mr. Chairman, there was a car trailer that was parked in the front off of Park Road.
Yep.
There was a fire hydrant in the middle. They put a crushed stone down and would keep this car trailer there.
this was an old,
Yeah, he was gonna move it
it's
back.
been around forever.
Yeah, this has been.
Okay, I do remember this,
And
okay.
if we do a resolution, we have to send it back to enforcement.
Okay. Resolution to that effect?
Second, Josh.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. That takes care of that. And that, okay, so the first resolution is Edwards Holding. Berkowitz, Kaplan, no, Kaplan's still gonna line. Mazzarella, Reddy, Schneider, Willens, Irakane. Somebody move that one?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Schneider. Yes. Willens.
Yes.
Irakane.
Yes. Okay, 2251 and 2250. Jaskowitz, Kaplan, Mazzarella, Reddy, Willens.
So moved, Jaskowitz. Second, Eddie.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Willens.
Yes.
Irakane.
Yes. 2254, 2261, 2267, and 2272.
I move to accept the resolutions.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Schneider. Yep. Willens.
Yes.
Irakane.
Yeah. Now, there was a request to carry a case.
No, not on, he didn't notice. Is that North Berwick? Yes, I had to give him, new notice.
Has that been a recent phenomenon that seems to be increasing, that more and more people are not noticing or noticing incorrectly? And can we do anything about it, that we have these cases lined up, and we end up with one case of the night, and people are waiting months for it to be heard?
Yeah, right. Want to run a seminar on how to get some paperwork?
No, thank you.
Nora and I were talking, Mr. Chairman, before, maybe in the application packet, maybe we can put additional things like having pictures and requiring it that before we schedule them, it has to be deemed complete.
And the other
But
one,
but we've had people not notice, right?
You give them a form of notice,
Yes, I give them, I explain it,
okay?
and then when I schedule them, I do their notice, and I do a cover letter telling them what they have to do,
That's
so.
not all you can do. More than you have to do.
the other,
Well, it's
just
just-
another logistic thing, Mr. Chairman, too. It seems that we get an increasing number of people that appear here that haven't seen the engineering's report or the, other letters that we have up here, and they haven't received them.
What's the procedure, Nora? Why are these people not, are they not paying?
Engineering is not in any way being timely with sending their letters. So I've told them they have to send them, because they should have it to me, like, when I first get an application, that's when they receive a copy of the application. And then Jen does her review, and then they get a copy of their review, and it could be a month and a half later before they're heard, and I'm getting their letter a week before, a day before,
Yeah,
so.
I kinda noticed that.
Am I correct in regards to this address that they just recently moved it at this location within the last year, year and a half?
You're talking yes, that is,
285 North Beverwick.
that's correct, and there's, code enforcement actually went over there when they first moved in and said, hey, look, there's been issues, if you're doing anything, please come to town.
Is this Irving Warren's old house?
This
The
is,
accountant?
yes, on the
Irving
corner.
Warren, not on the corner,
No,
no.
no, no. This
This
is
is
the
on the
corner
corner.
where the, there was a doctor's, there was a doctor and then it was,
Then
the
another family.
house fell in such disrepair that there have been a few purchases, which each purchase, they done some type of improvement. The last, owner, it's right across the street from the blue white house that's a rental on Vale, that faces Vale. This is the, east side of North Berwick, northbound side, like heading north on the right-hand side. I'm sorry, Nora, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay, just that they claim, even though they were told they have to come for permits for anything they do, they are saying their contractor said they didn't need permits.
They went nuts on that house in regards to their repairs and renovations. I'm so shocked that they,
It's not proposed.
when were they noticed?
I'd have to,
Oh,
I
okay.
forget, I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, because they revamped the whole thing.
This-
Is it positive
And we're
or
just hearing this now, huh?
positively?
This is,
Oh, well,
this is
yeah, but
on
they,
the southeast corner of Beverwick and Vale.
correct.
It's across the street from you,
Yeah, but at the Vale Light,
at the Vale Light, that house was Dr. somebody. I
there was,
forget.
yeah,
There was
frequently.
more than one doctor
Yep,
was in that
mhm.
building.
Mhm.
And what is the issue about?
Oh, they did, loads of
Legalized
renovations.
the
They got the
paver
fence.
patio, driveway expansion, and above-ground swimming pool.
And they also have a fence.
What was her name?
All right.
Huh?
Well,
No, that's somebody else.
what galls me is we get these, requests to legalize, and then people drag their feet.
Yeah,
And I would say that, tell them the next meeting, have they been to a meeting yet?
No.
They have not been to a
No.
meeting. All right, never mind.
What
and
was
again,
her,
these guys,
What was their last name? I apologize.
Rana, R-A-N-A?
but I have to tell you, if Rana purchased it within the last year, year and a half, these renovations predated
Oh, yeah.
that closing.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. That property was fixed up dramatically by the last,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So we're down to one case, that's it, Nora?
We're down to one case.
Okay, application 2145, Patel, 107 Harrison Road, please come forward.
Are you both gonna provide testimony or only one person? Okay, could you both raise your hands? Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got? And for the record, your son can Patel? And so and your name, ma'am?
Priyanka,
How do you spell that, T?
Priyanka.
Thank you. You're sworn. Have a seat. Please speak into the microphone. Mr. Chairman, the witnesses are sworn.
Okay, you're seeking a C variance to legalize a shed and patio and to install patio expansion, shed and rear yard, so,
If you remember, Mr. Chairman, I think this is the third time that the the applicant is here.
Way more.
Fourth time.
No.
Fourth time.
Way more than that.
They were supposed to bring in an updated, drawing, which has been provided.
Okay,
And, take, Nora might have received a letter from, Township Engineer Paul.
Yes, there's a letter
That
from
he had
him.
visited my property and then, he wrote everything inside, whatever he saw.
You agree with everything in the letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, he wrote, let me see.
Yes, positive.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So,
The new survey does not show any proposed patio expansion, so is it all there now?
Yeah, it's all there.
There
now.
won't be anything beyond what the
No,
new
no, no,
survey shows?
nothing. Whatever's on the new survey,
Did you install patio in the process of this application?
no, yeah, I think it was
It
done.
was all, everything was there?
It was done before.
Did you do any of the patio, or did you buy this on that way? Did you install the patio?
I had it done by someone
Yeah,
else.
okay.
Yeah.
All of it, or just some of it?
Some of it, not all of it. It was halfway through.
So the engineer
Yes,
saw the project
Yeah.
in its completed state? Yes?
yes. Completed state, and, also, he stated that there was a problem with the ponding water, like, drainage issue. He couldn't find.
I read it, yeah.
Yeah, so,
He states that your property is lower than your neighbor's.
yes, exactly.
I just want to confirm.
Yeah, no, I have the letter too. Sure,
so he's saying there's no visible ponding even after heavy rains?
yeah. He visited like 2 times. When there was a heavy rain, he showed up also on that
Good.
day.
I don't have the original file. Can someone tell me what the original requests were?
It's coverage.
It's coverage. Just impervious coverage, that's it? Oh,
John, you have,
Oh,
you
there were a
have
bunch
that,
of setbacks.
Yeah. It's right there.
oh, it's right to the,
No, I don't.
with the stuff I gave you.
See, that doesn't have the, zoning report.
have you had any conversations with your neighbors about this?
I think someone's here.
Back there.
Okay, all right. That doesn't look good, okay.
The zoning is on the map anyway.
All right.
Years of experience tell you that, right?
Yeah. So the impervious coverage is only 2.5% over the allowed amount. That's not so bad. The accessory yard, the patio is 0 feet. Side yard, 0 feet. Yards and courts, 6 is allowed, 3 is proposed, and yards and courts, side yard, 3 is existing and proposed and allowed at 6. Is there any way that you could back off some of that patio that goes right up to your property line? How many feet, I'm looking at this survey, but unfortunately I don't have a scale. How wide along, I believe it's the side of your house, how
This
wide?
goes from 8 to 10,
Oh, okay, so it's 8,
10 feet. Almost 11.
so, could you cut that down a couple of feet?
No,
No?
Why not?
Why not?
well, it's been done. I don't know, I mean, I'll try.
Done
but
without a permit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have a permit yet.
Right.
all right, so
So maybe we can not do
regardless
it.
of whether it's done or not.
because like I said, the impervious coverage itself is not dramatic, but it's the setbacks that are a little encroaching. Where is the,
That patio running along the side of your house is not interlocking, it's in rows, correct? Based on the picture you provided?
are they typical patio blocks?
Yeah,
Typical patio blocks about this
Yeah.
big?
Yeah,
That are just
yeah.
set in a
They're grouted.
they're grouted?
It looks
Where'd you get that picture?
I mean,
Oh, no, they're- yeah.
you could take a row or two off
okay,
the fence,
okay,
and that would probably get your coverage down
okay,
to the point,
okay,
because it's that, you're not peeling them out in between, it'll be a straight line.
There's a fence there?
Yeah,
there's a chain fence.
That your fence or the neighbor's
It's also
fence?
mine.
I think it's my neighbor's, the guy.
Maybe I have the wrong picture. What I'm looking at shows a white vinyl fence.
Yeah, that's mine.
And beyond that is a chain. There's one that
Yeah,
shows
beyond that,
both.
there's a chain.
Okay. So if you just took 2 rows of those tile out of there, you'd have a
From
little
the
grass.
Vinyl fence?
Along the whole side.
From the
Vinyl
fence.
and chain.
Vinyl and chain.
The whole side.
Okay.
Yeah, and that would probably, I mean, what, the picture I'm looking at, I know there's gonna be another row starting someplace, because the one end of the patio is 8 foot 8 inch, or 0.8 feet, and the other one's almost 11 feet. So it widens out as you go back, right,
Mm-hmm.
toward the shed.
Yeah,
What
So-
I would do is remove that row,
okay.
plant some grass seed. All you have to do is weed whack it once in a while. But if you just leave it as mud and dirt, all that's gonna start to erode under the fence.
Okay.
But the way you do it is take 2 full rows out and take those cut pieces and just move them over.
Okay.
How many feet would that be, John?
It looks like he's got 108 feet on that wall. That patio section is at least 50 feet long. So if he takes out 2 rows,
It's about a foot and a half.
they look like to be almost foot square.
It looks like a foot each.
So
Yeah.
about 2 foot.
So you would have 100 square feet of, 100 square feet of less coverage, which would drop your impervious down by,
I'm looking to see what size the lot is.
it would drop it below 40%.
It's just over 6,000.
Just over 6,000?
It says 6,000. It's down here.
That's 1.5% then. You'd be right on the 40%. So then we're just, we're mitigating the side, we're mitigating the impervious coverage.
Right.
And the rear yard.
Whose fence is it? The vinyl fence? Yours or the neighbor's?
Why does he have a problem with the rear? I don't see the
Almost
the
right
rear
up
being,
against the neighbor's house.
It's right up against the
I
property.
think I have a.
oh, that's the rear?
Yeah,
I have a permit.
Oh. I thought this was the front and
You have
this
a
was the
permit for
rear.
the fencing on
he
the
has really,
setback?
This looks, oh,
No,
his
no.
rear yard looks like this.
Before
This is
putting
side
the
yard.
fencing,
This is the
I took
side
the
yard.
permit from the
That's the
council.
rear yard.
And did you put the fence where it's
Gotcha.
supposed to
He
go?
measures
Yeah.
25 feet, and so this part is rear yard. All of it's.
But if you look at by the shed,
That's where it goes.
all the blocks you see, those are all removable. By the shed, those are all removable. I can remove that. That's not a concern.
You're talking about the ones under the shed or right next to the
No,
shed?
no, right next to the shed, I can remove those are removable.
Yeah, it looks like there's what,
Yeah.
two rows of them there?
Yeah, I can remove those are easy to remove.
So you will remove 2 rows of the sheds along that side of the house, the westerly side of the house.
Okay.
You just said also you are going to remove the tiles next to the shed?
Yeah.
Where's the door on the shed? Does it come out onto the patio, or does it come onto the grass?
You come out of the grass,
Okay,
that's where the door is.
I was just trying to,
It looks like there's a row of the brick in front of the door of the shed?
Yeah, that's removable too. I just put it up there, just to make a level, like if I wanted to remove some kind of machinery or something, I can remove that. That's fine.
any other questions by the board? Any members of the public have any questions of these witnesses on the testimony given to me? Please come forward.
And sir, this is just for questions. You'll have the time to, make a statement against or for the application.
This is just for questions, if you have questions.
One, how do you plan on?
Just have to-
No, you gotta come up and identify yourself into the microphone.
Yeah.
We're very formal here.
Yeah, just for the record, can you state your name?
David Murray.
Take a microphone,
And
please.
Take one of the
your
microphones.
residence?
Yeah, just grab it.
They're removable,
Yeah, they come out.
or sit down, either way.
David Murray.
Have residence and address, please.
It is 109 Harrison Road.
Thank you.
I also previously owned the home that they live in now, 107, which I did sold
I do have
It's just questions,
surveys.
sir, it's just questions. right now?
Questions?
You'll
What
have
kind of
time-
questions
you'll
you
have
got?
time
So
to-
basically, the patios, how are you going to control the water? Not only where you rerouted the water off the house from the gutters, and everything pitches to a drain that is higher than my property, where you paid a contractor 7 different times to add to a patio, and I still continue
You
to
have to ask
flood
questions.
and have water coming in.
Questions.
What's the question?
I need the water controlled.
Well, according to the engineer, if I'm reading this correctly, am I reading this correctly, gentlemen, ladies? Your township engineer says
Okay.
it's not his fault.
I would like to show you the engineer print that they have, because one, underneath the shed, there's a concrete pad.
So in the next part, you can do
You
all
can,
that.
you can, you
just
you
ask
can get
questions now.
sworn in and testify as much as you want.
I would like to know how you're gonna control the water from coming into my basement, and it's ruining cabinetry, flooring, on certain occasions. It's not 100%.
So the question is how are you gonna control water from running onto his property?
Basically, it's not going to his property, as it is mentioned on the letter, that it's 1 feet above my property. So how is that possible, the water is going through his basement?
Yeah.
Also, there's window wells too.
You'll have that chance.
You'll have that
Fair
chance. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Can I ask a question of?
Well, let me finish, let's see if he has any more questions first.
I came to you,
Question,
Question?
question.
Questions?
It's gotta end in a
I
question mark.
requested it to be mitigated. You've refused. and
You're,
asked-
what's the question?
John.
What is the question?
How are they going to resolve the water issue?
There is,
and
according to the town
encroaching
engineer, there's not a water issue.
Well, he's not blaming them for any water that you might get, and he is stating, the engineer, we can only go off what the engineer is saying. He is saying that when he was there, after 2 heavy rains, there was no water. So for us,
The,
we have to base it off of,
All right, let's, do you have any other questions? Any other
I
questions?
need the water that is coming from your property.
Please stop with the water coming from his property. Do you have any other questions about the testimony that they gave this evening? Do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
All right, have a seat. We'll call you back when the time comes. Nancy, I'm sorry. Do you have a question for him?
Yeah, I had a question. Did you sell this property to this applicant?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. What year was that?
2015.
I'll take, I asked him, not you. Go ahead, I'm sorry, sir.
2015.
Thank you.
Board has no more questions. There's one other member of no, you're not interested in answering questions, okay. So, is there anything else that you want to add at this point? No, okay. So now I'm going to ask, is there any member of the public who wishes to speak in opposition to this application? This is your opportunity.
Sir, you have to come to the microphone, you have to be sworn in, so raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before the board's true self you got?
Yes, I do.
And again, you're David Murray, 109, was it Harrison Road?
Harrison Road.
Thank you, you're sworn.
100%
You
correct.
can have a seat, please speak into the microphone.
I did meet the township engineer on the property. We were a little bit perplexed, not only that the engineer who provided the print showing that there's a 4-inch pipe, there's a 3-inch outlet. It's a 3-inch Schedule 40 pipe. It's not 4-inch. There also doesn't show on the survey any concrete that is underneath the shed. While I was constructing a new construction home next door, not only from the basis where we excavated, George Winters was there, Sal from the Township Engineering, I excavated, we put in a foundation. Through the course of this, after I sold the home, I could show you my prints from 2010, 2014, where we not only changed the home and the property layout, because there is an issue with water on that entire block. There is a catch basin in the back where we originally planned for the entry to come in the back of Brantwood. Okay, they faced to Allentown. We were gonna come in through the back. But there is a drain that was put in there not only at my expense, but also the township's, and they desired for the home to be built opposite, that it would face Harrison Road, to keep the drainage flowing to the back for all of the lots on that area. There are 5 homes on basically that circle. When I started to dig, put in the foundation, there was multiple times that they have hired a contractor to come in. 1, they're not legitimate. 2, there's no zoning applications or approvals. They've also been denied a couple of times when they applied for things. I did come to them. I explained to them that we are flooding. You diverted your water right into my foundation and windows. The water in the property, even what was surveyed and what was done by Fred Miola, prior to me selling to my neighbor, prior to my construction, everything was clear, cut, and dry where the water ran. After I finished my construction, even had my final survey done, we could clearly see that there is a gap and a void, even on their surveyors, Sunland Survey. So there are 3 deficiencies that I see on the survey. 1, there's no concrete pad shown underneath the shed. I witnessed it, I saw it. As far as the 4-inch pipe, it's a 3-inch Schedule 40 pipe that exits the road. On a calm day, that's nice and warm out, there's no frost. Come into winter, where their exit pipe is, where I think it was the 4th time and 5th time that they had work done. Finally, after the 6th, after I flooded, the 3rd time in my basement, after being finished, they put in a drain system. This drain system exits above the curb, okay? So it comes out, they knocked out a block, okay, which you're not supposed to do. They exit the pipe there. During the course of the winter, we all know we have snow. What occurs? The snow lays there. Not only did they exacerbate the existing situation by constructing 4 times and adding to a patio, forget about the concrete pad. The patio's 4 times. I had to go in and mitigate, you name it, we'll get to that point. However, you don't see running water when it's warm, because off of the gutters, the bulk of it is able to flow out the road. When water is warm, great. When it's cold and you have snow on the road, and that water comes down and hits that, it freezes. If you have snow on the road covering a pipe, not only does water lay in that lower section, okay, and freezes during the winter, it freezes and does not allow the water to go. So if you have a home, let's say 26 by, 46, all of that water, when I owned the home, it went off all 4 corners. They have since put up new gutters, new drain systems, where I had asked, I've explained, George Winters, township engineer, has went and spoke to their father. They continue to build and continue to exacerbate the situation. So all this water that comes off of the house, it all comes out that 3-foot pipe. When it's frozen during the winter, it can't go anywhere. Where do you think this water goes? What they built here, and what I could show you, we can go over the engineering numbers. I went over it with the engineer and showed them. Even on their own survey, it shows a pond. That pond sits, I have 3 windows. I have a 10-foot basement below grade. It comes right in. I have attempted to mitigate the situation 7 times. Not once, not twice, not 7 times. They've expanded the patio 4. Forget about the concrete. Then they continue to add and want to add more. I'm not taking the water. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a mason by trade. I have degrees in landscape architecture, mechanical engineering, I work not only in this township, I lived in this township my entire life, okay? I work for multiple builders. I could read these numbers, okay? I build houses from the excavation, when there's nothing there, to finish. I could do woodwork now, okay? You cannot tell me that water is not coming into my house. It's not coming from the floor. It's coming through a window, okay? From the grade, from what my neighbor had constructed by contractors that did faulty work. That wasn't approved. That's not my fault, okay? However, my insurance company, I'm faced with $1,000 deductible. I came to them several times. I explained the situation. I paid my laborers, myself, to mitigate this 7 different times. Not only, okay, I have a full basement, I have a full foundation perimeter. The township, which obviously they do things properly under construction, they make you control water. I diverted every single ounce of water on my property to the existing drains in the back. Water can't be coming from my property. It's not coming up from the ground because I have full sub pumps. I have full drain systems, okay? It's coming through a window. It's coming through my windows. So what I had to do, imagine this cost 7 times. Forget about topsoil or seed. If you have a basement that's 10 foot deep after you finish construction, and then you have your neighbor, when you explain to them there's a problem, then they want to keep going, keep building. They don't care about you. There was never a nice word. I physically redug, regraded everything out to fix it the first time. My cost. What did they show me respect? I came back, they dug all their garbage, all their debris to put in their patios and filled in the swale that we have. Engineering prints don't lie. And maybe I don't have an engineering degree, but I can tell you what, numbers don't lie, grades don't lie. And I can tell you what's on some of my prints don't match these new prints. And I question that, and I question the engineer.
Do you have evidence to present to us?
I would love to show you some of these things, yes.
All right, you have to understand that we mark them and then we keep them.
Are you able to make a copy?
Yeah.
Is someone able to make a copy? Obviously, you have this. We're gonna go off of theirs. You should have this.
Yeah, we have.
That we have.
If you,
We have that.
We have that.
okay, we could go off of their,
What's that?
What do you have in your
That's
hand?
your-
these are basically my existing applications showing what was existing on the home. There were concrete patios, there were no pavers.
Oh, that's history. Let's
Okay.
use this one.
That's fine,
Okay, you said you can do that.
that's fine.
Okay.
But what I had to do to mitigate before I would like to explain.
Let's go from what's there shown on this survey, and you're gonna tell us it's either right or wrong.
Okay, one, there's no concrete patio underneath the shed. There's no mention of that.
In terms of coverage, makes no difference.
Makes no difference, it's already got a
roof,
shed
It's got a
there.
roof, got pavement, doesn't make any difference.
That would only come to
It's
play as if it was building coverage.
It's funny because I do, get zoning permits and we have to do jobs.
Right.
Number one, you're not allowed, it's a 6-foot setback.
Well,
On all
that's
corners.
a different issue.
That is a setback.
Okay, and then the other thing is, depending on the size of it, and then if we're gonna put in a permanent structure such as concrete, one, it's not permeable. 2, it's a structure.
Right,
This is concrete.
right, but a roof is a structure and it's not permeable either, so that, from zoning standpoint, whether it's a roof, whether it's concrete,
It's
whether it's
tempting.
plastic, it's all impervious.
I know whenever we do a job, we have
Can
to
you-
see zoning
let's drop
permits and everything
Let's
else.
drop it.
That-
Okay?
You're not gonna win that one.
You could decide what you wanna do.
The issue of
That's-
setback is the issue. The issue of coverage is an issue, but he says he's gonna pull up the,
So am I able to build a concrete structure to a property line? Or is there
no,
a setback?
no, you gotta get a variance to do it.
Okay,
That's why they are.
That's what he's here for.
all right. So we'll
But
get,
that isn't what you've been talking about. You've been talking about the drainage.
my issue is the water.
Yeah.
Get the water
All right.
off of my property.
Now, you do know that he's gonna pull up, enough of
That's
the
not
patio, so he's probably going to be compliant on the coverage.
One, I'm requesting, please take,
But I want you to go back to the survey.
Okay,
There's
we'll go to the
there's something
survey.
you're saying that's wrong here.
Okay, if we take a look at the top of the grate, where the water's gonna get into, do we see the number 100.7 on that?
Where it says yard drain?
172,
Correct,
100.72.
correct.
Okay, yes.
And then go to the X on my property, below that, the third one down, GS 100.25.
Okay,
So all the water is ponding to that point. If we take a look at some of the other higher marks in front of their home, the
But the-
GS,
Right next to that, it's showing top of concrete, which is on your property, correct?
that's a concrete top walkway. That's
Okay.
not the grade.
And that's 2 feet above, almost 2 feet above that where you say ponding takes place.
Actually, the concrete walkway is to the front. The
Okay.
ponding is to the back.
Okay, now let's go back where we have 100.68, correct?
Correct.
And right across from that on your property is 100.92.
That's where we had to fill in after they finished putting in the shed, because they're blocking the water flow. The
But is that
water flow-
right? I mean, you're a little higher than he is.
There was window wells. I'll explain the construction. There was a grade cut. There are window wells to have sun coming in, okay? We have existing grades that, were shot previously onto the property. I had to raise my window wells twice to their construction. I had to raise the topsoil 4 times, okay?
Okay?
So the original, if you take my original survey,
So is the engineer right, the basic soil, well, I go out there, stand there, your yard is a little higher than his?
Yeah, what point?
the property was basically flat. Before
That's not what I'm asking.
I'm gonna explain.
What's there today?
What is there today is still the same hard clay packed dirt that was existing. I only slope topsoil this way. The
Okay,
situation is when the water ponds, it doesn't get through that to the sandy loam in like Lake Parsippany. So it lays on top of the clay. Since there's topsoil, it can't shed it. The water comes in and comes into my windows that way. And the water comes basically, and the biggest problem, after they put in the pipe system, when it's, let's say not freezing out, no snow on the road, that's great. The problem that we're having now is when there's snow that lays on the ground, okay? Is it plowed in, it packs that pipe. Water hits snow, it freezes. We all know that. I shot it with my transit. I helped the one Spanish guy that they had putting it in. There is barely a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch pipe on this entire run. It lays flat.
You mean pitch?
Correct. It lays flat. They started off with a 4-inch pipe. They had to go to a 3-inch, a solid. The water lays in. When there is snow, it freezes. When the melt comes off the house and the storms you have, it's not just snow. It goes to snow to rain. Where does all this water go? And what happens is, it comes down the house, their drain is higher, it plugs up there. They built up the back of the house with a patio, so it's a moat. Before, the township had me run into the back of the drain, which is the proper way to do it. They blocked that with the moat, with the shed and concrete, and basically, I have a ponding area.
Are we talking about surface runoff or groundwater?
Surface, it's not groundwater.
All right, because
Groundwater, I have a full sub pump system, and it's not your, it's basically, a fab wall. It's not masonry. Half of the house is masonry, the rest is the structured forms.
Did you talk to the town engineer at all?
He came to show me, we were perplexed. about this. And what we said is somebody could get in trouble.
Well,
But the town of-
we're perplexed over
Yeah.
the fact that he's gotten a relatively favorable report, despite the fact that you attest to the fact that the engineer's office knows that there's a deep history in regards to this property relative to the new owner.
You're only flooding, I'm guessing, based on what you
It's
said,
the
is
water-
winter time.
The
You do
water,
not spread- you do
it's
not
not
flood
coming
summer,
this
spring,
way
and
from the
fall.
ground. It's
Okay.
not ground table
But
water.
you don't flood winter, spring, or fall.
It's
summer.
during the
Sorry,
winter,
summer, spring, or fall. You don't flood.
on a 10-inch storm, some of those, yes, I get water. It doesn't flood. The house is not flooded.
The window wells.
The window wells were flooding, yes.
Okay.
And
That
even
does not
now, to
happen.
date, what is still occurring is with the winter, the pipes back up, or the water comes so fast, it lays, it gets clogged, and even the height of the drain, where it is, the water's laying here and coming into my last window.
Now, you seem to be
The
pretty
engineer-
knowledgeable. I have a question. When he went out on October 3rd, which he chose because it was the remnants of a hurricane, there was no water in the window well.
There was
Why?
barely an inch, that's something
Why?
that we talked about, there was barely an inch of rain.
Can you tell us why?
The situation is on during the winter months when.
So
the
we're back
pipe
to this
freezes.
only happens in the winter. That's what I'm trying to narrow this down.
No, when there is heavy duty rain.
So
When
that
you have, like,
hurricane,
multiple periods
which I
of rain.
remember, was not heavy duty.
No,
It's gotta be more than a hurricane to flood your windows.
some hurricanes don't bring 10 inches of rain.
So it's only 10 inches.
It could be less than that, but a 1-inch storm like we have now, it's not gonna come in the window. Unless you have, like I said, the snowpack.
So on
And
that,
that's what we're facing.
and I don't mean to interrupt, but in the bottom of the letter, in the last paragraph, when he says also window wells need proper drainage to assure that the wells don't fill with water, he's talking about your window wells.
We had, we'll address this because.
Wait,
as
just
a part
answer,
of my
please just
remedy,
answer his question. That's a yes or no question.
I installed, window well drains. I hand dug 10 foot deep. There are full drains that tie into the house French drain. What occurs is during the winter, you get snow, things pack. When it comes, it snows. Everything like freezes over.
But you told,
The drains,
It's a yes or no question.
right, because we're being, you seem very convincing, and you seem like you're telling your story honestly and whatever. But we are also faced with a engineer's report that is not backing up what you're saying. If you had a conversation with him and you expressed your concerns with him, how come he didn't express those concerns in this letter, which is what we're gonna be basing probably our opinion on?
Especially given your testimony where you say at one point that the township engineer almost acted like a liaison between you and the
Right.
current owner. So if the township engineer's office knew that there was such a rich history of problems here, why the favorable
it was
report?
George Winters. George Winters doesn't work in engineering anymore.
This is
He
not
was the
George
one who
Winters.
started
This is
and
not
then
George
Sal
Winters. This
took
is
it
not
over.
George Winters.
Never heard
Please,
the
please,
name.
please,
Paul
please.
and Brandon.
It's not
Those are the ones
This
who
is
did the
Paul.
climate.
This is Paul.
You started to say you had a solution to this. What is it?
I was suggesting, and the only way to fix this problem is that drain that they have, they need to put a drain in where it's low on the property. It's not only on my side, it's on their side, in the one area where it shows the 10.5.
Is there storm drain in the street?
I put in even.
Is there a storm drain in the street?
They have them, yes. There's 2 of them.
To what?
There's 2 storm drains. And the way that the water should have ran, it should have
There's
ran.
there's grates in the side of the road, you say?
Yes, there are.
And where are they? They don't show up on this survey.
There are, 2 storm drains. One to the, both to the left of the home.
There's actually
Well, they actually don't show the curb in anything there, okay.
is there actually a drain, like a grate in the backyard as well? Because the one picture looks like picture we have looks like there's a grate in the yard itself that's above the
Correct. but
ground.
That does not take anything because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
higher.
Because it's higher, that's what
It's
that
farther
was my
back to
question.
the house, it's higher, and my property and his is lower here. So the drain is useless. And what
You don't have any pictures? You didn't think to take any pictures of the problems?
I can't go on that property.
No, your property. Pictures of the problems on your property. You don't have
No,
any
the,
pictures.
actually, engineering reports is contradictory to what you are saying, because engineering report says that your property is above
Well,
than their
then
property.
if you just take a look at the numbers can't lie. If the back where the drain is, if it's higher than where it's showing the X, obviously there's a pitch this way. And the only remedy I had, because I was 6 foot, was to take topsoil. And I put in window wells, more stone, I even tied a drain in. I dug down 10 feet, tied into the foundation drain underneath the slab of the house. The problem is when you got snow and drain, when my clocks, I take his water, or it comes in so quick. It's like a flash flood. It's not like you're gonna come back a day later and there's gonna be puddling water.
So
You know-
what,
You know, in all you've said tonight, you have about 5% of what you said was testimony, and the other 95% was just a repeat of the first 5%, in my opinion, okay? So, you still cannot counter the township engineer's report.
If we could take a look at it, if the drain, okay, the drain in the yard, okay,
Where is the drain? Can you tell me?
100.7, right?
correct. The drain top is 100.7, okay?
See it over here?
See, it says yard drain grate 100.7.
So it's by that, it's,
Correct.
But in the picture, it shows higher than what is around it, and on the survey, it says the ground is higher. If it says 100.81 below that, but looking at this picture that we have, it looks, it doesn't look that way.
so you say if they lower that drain, how?
They need
that
to
grade-
lower that
grade,
drain.
The grade.
And the grade to take the water on this backside. I mean, if somebody wants to take a look, I could show it to you on the map and show you what I'm talking about. But it clearly, if the drain top is
Just gotta go lower.
100.7 and the X on my property next to 2 window wells is 100.25, obviously, my property is lower than theirs and they continue to raise it. And I have the old, heights that were from, my original application, because I own a home. And the heights were lower.
We know the grades have been changed, so the old heights don't mean anything. I tried to get that across.
Well, what I'm asking is please put in a drain that's lower than my property, so I don't have to continue to put money in. I'm already at a loss with my cabinets, because I have water coming in through the window. It's not coming up through the ground.
do you want a drain? Do you want a swale?
I requested that some sort of French drain, that whether snow, whatever may be it, something that is open, not a little box drain, and where all their water from their house comes into that box drain before it gets diverted. That's what I'm trying to say. So they're filling up a box drain, where I'm lower, where do you think the water mitigates?
The problem with all this is that the engineer we deal with these water coverage issues all the time, and they're very specific. He isn't mentioning this at all.
I would really.
Right, so, right, and we're all baffled by this,
Right.
with this conflicting information. But the bottom line is, this is the cost of doing business when you do work without permits.
Have you seen the engineer's letter?
I didn't see the letter. I met
You
the
want my
engineer,
copy?
and we went
You
over
want my
his
copy of
print,
his letter?
and we both were
Okay.
perplexed. at the
Okay,
numbers.
well, he's not perplexed.
You should read his letter
his
and tell us why he's wrong.
Yeah.
I just explained to you the.
Read the letter, read the letter.
Read the letter and then tell us where he's
Our
wrong.
decision has to be made on his professional input, okay? His letter doesn't support much of what you're saying, nor does he recommend.
Is there sufficient grade to get, I see the existing inlets on the corner on the left side of the building.
Let him read the letter.
Is there a sufficient grade from the back of the lot to that inlet? Is it possible that just a very simple pipe could be added, push some of the water to the inlet?
Something needs to be done on their property.
Yeah, regardless what the engineer, this guy's living it. I mean, I doubt he's taking the time to express the, what on earth that he's experiencing.
I agree with you.
So if he's
But the-
negatively
but the guy
impacted,
was
again,
there-
I go back to the fact that this applicant has been doing all kinds of work with no permits. And this is the consequences of that.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, my
but the-
cabinets, honestly,
No,
they're peeled, they're flaked, and the water comes in through the window. I'm lucky because we knew about it. I paid more money for the sheetrock to take water, okay? I put in special floors because we knew it's a problem. And it's not one window, it's multiple windows.
When did you do that work?
Excuse me?
When did you do that work?
I've done that work from 2017 to 2020.
So since this started, that's what I was getting at.
I've mitigated 7 different times to try to solve the issue. And it's not working. What I could do on my property, it's not working.
When's the last
And
time you had water? I think we're down to the solution of either the applicant hears what he has to say and will agree to do it, or you're gonna eliminate your variances.
Could you,
Wait a minute, that's a question to the applicant, not to you.
could you put a French drain in so that this would hopefully alleviate it and appease your neighbor? So a French drain is like putting stone in, a pathway, so the water follows the stone and goes to where you want it to go. You know, it seems like you've done work, as Ms. Schneider has pointed out, you've done work without permits and whatever. Maybe it is a good compromise for you to invest a few more dollars
Okay, I'll try
and
it.
put in a French drain.
I'll try this solution.
Where's the
But-
French drain gonna send the water?
Well, that an engineer is the
You're
town.
gonna start basically where the end of the patio is to the front of your house. And your neighbor is saying that's where the ponding is taking place.
Correct.
And if we put the drain there, out to the street, because you've got a drain up by the back corner, and you've got a drain out in the back in front of the shed. Now you'll have another one picking up that puddle that's supposedly there and out to the street. Now, the issue of dumping it in the street and it gets clogged up, you're both young guys, just get a shovel.
Well, let me offer that, we don't have the inverse of the existing inlets that are on the street, on the edge of the,
You got the one down in the corner.
right, there's two, there's one on each road, basically, on the corner. If, I don't know the depth is, if it's possible to tie into that, so it avoids some of the icing issues, that would be my suggestion.
Could I suggest what really truly needs to get done to mitigate it?
Sure.
Is one, to tie the drain into, there's 2 storm drains.
Right.
If you tie it into a storm drain, no snow is gonna clog it. It's gonna be a
That's what I'm
positive
saying.
flow. Case closed. This existing drain does not work. The numbers don't lie. What's on here does not work. There needs to be some sort of a drain system. I put in a swale, recut it twice, they put the dirt back. There's nothing more I could do. They need to put in a drain system separately from the roof and gutters, because that's one, that only exacerbates the system. But they need to tie in a separate system of French drain, because you diverted all your water, you made the grade even higher, and you pushed it to my house.
Sir, when the town engineer was there, did you address this issue?
I showed it to them, they were perplexed, and you wanna know what he told me? Somebody can get in trouble without putting this information on the survey.
Right.
If you could just alleviate a concrete patio.
Yet he didn't write
Okay.
any of this in his letter.
and
But it's not
then,
on the survey
I'll be
either.
honest with you.
That was provided by the
If you wanna
applicant.
put in where I paid a prominent engineer firm, we confirmed the numbers and the grades with what's on the sewer and the roads. These numbers don't jive.
But you don't have that in writing, you don't have a report.
No.
I just received this report today. I
The
did,
report from the engineering firm you retained. This prominent engineering firm.
I have the
Anything-
grades, what were shot from prior applications.
Just listen to the question, please listen to the question.
So you're saying you have an engineering firm that agrees with you, but you don't have any report from them to share with us confirming your testimony.
Excuse me, maybe I explained that improperly. I have prior engineering prints to my property, to the township roads, the township storm drains. and to 2 lots that basically encompass the water drainage, what the township has set up there.
Does the survey list the depth of the existing inlets?
I'm sorry, I couldn't
Do
hear
we
you.
know how deep the existing inlets are
For
on the street?
For what I put in the township, yes. For what he has, they show the top of the grade. which
That's what I'm
is-
saying, how deep is it based on your info?
The difference?
No, your info.
Based on your info, do you know how deep those existing inlets are in the street?
They're 4.5 feet.
Okay, so you have some room to work with if you can
Correct.
send the water, keep it underground and send
Correct.
it in there.
There is room to do something, and unfortunately, what was put in design, the water was supposed to go from Harrison Road to the back into the storm drains. That's how the grade laid naturally. That's what was set up, that's what I graded, that's what was approved. Because I was not able to build until the foundation was done, the grading was done, the water was taken care of, the piping, everything was finished. I couldn't put a stick on my house until everything was approved with the engineer. There were no problem.
But I think we have a compromise, don't we?
And then, all of a sudden, after everything built, that's where I had the problem.
Okay,
hold
now
on.
you're saying everything was supposed to go to the backyard, now you're wanting him to take it to the front, to the Harrison, right? That you believe if he puts this drain in there with a French drain, and take it out to Harrison, that'll mitigate your problem, is that what you're saying?
If you put it underneath the ground, yes, and you get pitch on it, yes, to take it out.
Okay, that would be my question for the applicant. Would you be willing to just tie into the inlet and just not send it to the shallow curb off the exit of the street, but send it to the actual inlet that's on the street?
Would you have to get a permit from the town to go into the?
You have to work with the
Engineer?
municipality for that,
Mhm.
because it's their inlet.
I mean, do we really need their permission? I mean, this is the cost of doing business without a permit. I don't understand this. We gotta mitigate, we gotta rectify this.
So Chaz, how do I write that in the resolution? I'm
Right.
at a loss.
It's really just extend the underground piping system to the existing inlet and existing inlet. We don't care which one,
Peter,
as long as it's underground.
can we not approve it until the work is done?
We can prove it subsequent, subject to the work being done,
Okay.
Yeah.
So do it that way.
We'll do it that way.
if the applicant is willing to do that.
Okay, ask him.
Okay.
Okay.
So then the resolution is gonna require you to take the 2 foot of, pavers from the back vinyl fence and around to the shed, correct? And then there's gonna be an inlet, you're gonna hook the inlets into the, I guess, the drainage system out in
Drainage
the,
system into the
road.
existing inlet at the corner of the street.
Let me ask one
And this is
question on that,
supposed to be
what
monitored
if,
by
what
the
if he
township?
can't get approval to do that from the township?
Because I have like.
And he doesn't get his.
Yeah, if they have to. They have to
Yeah,
go
then-
to the-
then-
So I know that,
then he
but this
doesn't
is all
get the
gonna be
variance.
closely monitored by the township?
Oh,
So
They have to
I-
get a permit
that-
to tie in the inlet anyway.
Yeah.
That's what Davey's saying, right?
That would be my concern on this
Right.
qualification. He's willing to do it, but if the township doesn't allow him to tie into the drain, where do we go from there? What happens?
Is that a possibility?
Then town
Chaz, is that, is that,
Chaz, is there a possibility the
Chaz,
township will
will
let
that-
them
The
do it?
township definitely has to, evaluate the situation and approve it, and, they would have to come back and say if, it wasn't permitted or not. That's a rare occasion, but it could possibly happen.
Okay.
If there's a problem that they know about, they don't want to add to it, then they would prohibit any further connections. But, at face value, that would be the
Okay,
way
so
to
the
go.
applicant said he's willing to do that. If the town approves it and he gets it done, we're good, right?
Exactly right.
Okay,
And if he doesn't,
Doesn't.
then
You gotta come back.
you gotta come back.
Right.
So don't throw this out there.
So there would be one
Okay,
pipe.
you better, you got a pretty good compromise here.
3 times. 3 times 2 kills.
all right.
If they're willing to do that, we're willing to move forward.
And for the record, there are no other members of the public here, so I will not ask if anybody else wants to speak for.
And when the
Favor
work
or-
when the work is done, to have an actual, be surveyed again, or the actual elevation, so we can do the math,
Mhm.
see if there's some pitch and it's sized correctly to get into the storm inlet.
Do you have anything else to add to this? No? Okay. Do we need to go into conference, or can we,
I think.
No, no need.
could we vote to instruct the attorney to
Yeah.
prepare a resolution based on the facts presented tonight, the removal of certain amount of patio blocks, the drainage situation?
Actually, I got this work done after 2017, not in 2017.
What does that
What
matter?
is,
No, I mean, I'm
what is,
saying,
Okay, well,
what does it matter?
that
Still
means you
legal
should,
work.
means you should have got a permit
Yeah.
6 years ago.
That's what it means.
Do I have a motion to, so moved by,
Have the attorney draft the resolution.
and I have a second?
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion, Nora, call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willen.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Result is the variances are granted, subject to the conditions.
There's two of them there, right? I have to look on this.
Do I have a
plan.
motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? What can I watch on TV tonight? I was just watching UConn and,